Welcome to another episode of Phil John's VIP. I don't know what's happening with my words tonight. Welcome to another episode of Phil John's VIP. I am your host, Phil John. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you coming by once again on a Saturday night. I feel blessed and highly favored as I always am. And tonight I want to continue my series of independent filmmakers. And tonight is sure to be just another great conversation. I have a young man by the name of Tom Caps coming through, who I had the privilege of meeting while judging the Roosevelt Island Film Festival a few years back. And he has a film called I'm Not Nice that I just fell in love with. I believe that he has such a special gift and just that touch. Everyone has their signature touch. And I think that when you look at his work, you'll know what that thing is. I think that it speaks volumes of the talent of someone who can capture um, uh, characters that will endear themselves to the audience right off the screen. You just connect, and that takes a special gift. And I just think that he's a guy and a filmmaker who just has it. Some people have it, some people don't. B. Arthur once said, some people have a funny bone and some people don't. But one thing about it is that if you stay in the truth and you are honest about what you are putting in, to the masses, situations and life circumstances are hilarious. And I think that this group of people and filmmakers have done just that. So without further ado, I want to bring on Mr. Tom Caps. I'm excited for him to join me tonight. For joining me. Let me give everybody a wave. Tom, where you at? Where you at? Tom, are you there? Are you there?
All
Ah!
right, nice. Uh, Working. This is actually the first time I've done one of these. So,
Nah, man. Once you do it the first time, it's a breeze.
I just want to say thank you for probably the nicest intro anyone has given me in maybe ever, probably ever.
Ever.
That was all so kind. I just appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um,
Listen, I think that the thing about me is like once I see something and I see that there's something special about it, I like to let people know exactly how it affected me and what my experience was by seeing it. So yes, I think that's my opinion of you and your work and what you've had to offer thus far.
well, I really appreciate it, and just to take it off me a little bit, I really, without my team, which is Thursday Shoots, it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people as well. So I say it all the time. I appreciate you thinking I have some kind of gift, but I really am just clever enough to surround myself with people, just way more talented than I think I am. So.
Listen, it takes an intelligent man. I think that's the beauty about it is know that you delegate the strengths of the people around you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Phil Russell, who shot the thing and has been my producing partner for longer than I want to do the math for, and Janelle and Shannon. Janelle, who plays the lead in I'm Not Nice, which you mentioned, and Shannon, who co-directed it and wrote it. Um, you know, it really is a team effort, and yeah, that project holds a real special place for a litany of reasons. But as you mentioned, we met at the Roosevelt Island Film Festival,
Yes.
which was also the premiere of that film, um, which we had shot pre-COVID. We shot it in 2019. We had a great time shooting it. I went off and got married a month after that, and then the world ended for a while,
Yeah.
and
What?
myself to really cut the thing. I'd watch it, but my wife's a nurse, so there was just a lot that kept that film from getting done. And and when we did finally go out and get to be with people again and show it in a room, um, it just really was. And that room too. What a great festival that was. And
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
championing. And but really, just what a great experience all that was to come back out of such darkness and be able to share a little bit of light um, with so many people in such a great supportive space.
I definitely want to start I want to just go back just a little bit because I want to know before we even get into I'm Not Nice, because I got a lot of comments about that, how much I loved it. But I want to talk about like Thursday shoots. Like what was the vision for that?
Thursday shoots, we all met in college at Five Towns College. We all kind of had a similar sensibility of the stuff we liked. Even going back a little further, like maybe kind of weirdo outcasts in high school and whatnot, but all surrounded around the same kind of sense of humor and film and all that. And we knew we wanted to work with each other. And we also wanted to just try to make as much as we could while we were in film school. So one day a week, we're like, let's just shoot something, good, bad, or otherwise. Just point cameras at things, write something, and get it out. And that day just happened to be Thursdays. So today we, got together, shot something. Some of them saw the light of day. A lot of them are just sitting on hard drives and should not be watched. But, we were able to flex that muscle. And yeah, that was well over a decade ago, and we're still kind of in the same mindset of like who's got we've gotten way better and less projects sit on hard drives unseen by the world, but yeah, we just are a group of people that have similar sensibilities, and ego never got in the way somehow. I don't know how we've pulled that off, but yeah, it's always been who's got the idea we all think is the best. Okay, you direct this one, I'll write this one, you produce it, I'll build props. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We've, all since moved and we can't make stuff weekly anymore because life gets hectic. But, we've all been in each other's wedding parties, officiated and all that. So yeah, we're a bunch of weirdos that like to make similar things, but really became this weird little family that if we never made another thing again, I'd still have that. And that's sometimes enough. Is enough, not sometimes. Right. Would be enough.
I think a lot of things that I talk about often is how I feel like when you are coming out of college or you come into the business, you have this kind of circle, you have this community. I think that's the part of it that we love and we cherish and we hold dear to us a lot. I think that as we go into the business, things kind of shift. Do you ever feel like that things have shifted for you and you miss that sense of community that once was, of collaboration?
I've to a degree, but we still do it a lot. We like I said, not every week anymore. And we all have different jobs that kind of pulled us in different directions. But Kevin, who's been in a bunch of stuff with me and I've written with forever, I'm going to be both our post producers on Impractical Jokers. So I still get to work with that guy pretty much every day and collaborate and do whatever. And we're in the middle of a couple of things right now. So things have shifted as far as when we can get together. But yeah, I think we all still found each other at the time where we probably needed it more than any of us will admit.
Right.
And that element of it has stayed true. So even though we don't collaborate as much, together, it's like no time has passed and we make fun stuff and yeah. So yeah, I think the amount of time is less, but the quality and level of collaboration when it does happen hasn't shifted. Maybe we screw around a little less. We know what we need to do to get something done as opposed to like winging it as much. Now it's a little more structured in a more productive way. But the core of the thing is still there. So
how do you maintain the love for it?
Oh, that's a fun question. I brought up COVID before, and there was a point where I thought about tapping out for more so the reason of like, well, I don't know if this is ever going to be a thing I could do again, right? Like, I could make stuff on my phone with my cat all day, but, it is about, for me, it's always been about a group of people getting together to make a thing to make the world a little less crappy for a second. If you can pull that off, still, to me, the greatest magic trick in the world. And for me, I have always kind of committed to the idea of, like I mentioned, being weird high school outcast, right? I've always wanted to just make the things for the three friends that are sitting in the basement laughing at maybe something other people may have never seen, some weird art house thing or whatever. And I've always maintained that. And I think just the lack of ego. I think the idea of, what's the funniest thing? Why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
If the why only becomes about the money, then yeah, you're going to burn out. If it just becomes how am I going to, be the next whoever, Spielberg, you're going to burn out because that's so rare. But if you remember why you started, which was to just make a room full of people laugh or cry or whatever your genre is. I keep saying laugh because I'm a comedy guy,
Yeah.
but you know, if you keep that in your head and don't, I also, our sets are just fun. I think it comes to us in the work, even if the scripts aren't the strongest thing in the world. I think we've gone out of our way to try and make it so it doesn't feel like work when you're on set, even at 12-hour overnight mark. No one's trying to kill each other. You're just trying to make the best thing possible. And I think that's how I've kept the fun and the hope of it. And yeah, and go to festivals. It was nice to do I'm Not Nice in person, because it just the Zoom thing was fine, but I don't know. There's just something about being in person that changed that. So that was a very long-winded way. I don't know if I entirely answered your question.
No. You did answer my question. I think that's the one of the things that we kind of give up when we immerse ourselves completely into the business of show, of what the thing that made us really fall in love with it and why we're actually doing it. Because, when you come into a world, and thank God the SAG-AFTRA is now back at work.
Yeah.
When you get involved in the politics of the industry, sometimes you forget why you're in it to begin with, but I think the beauty is to keep that part, because when you're not really trying to be the next something and you're being authentically who you are to your work, you create some beautiful things, and when you look back at film and television, some of the things that made the greatest impact didn't make the most money, but
Sure.
it's lived on forever.
Well, even look at this last, Oscar season, Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? That movie didn't make bank by any means. Now I think everyone's, but it's a weird little movie,
Yeah.
and it's perfect. And the Daniels, those guys so what you said, those guys know the thing they like to make, and they just hope that there's other people out there that are into that, and for better or for worse. And it turns out it's really for better. So yeah, I think just be who you are, make the things you want to make, and as a guy who makes some weirder out there stuff in the comedy world, it was kind of inspiring to see a movie like that do so well, because it turns out there really is an audience for that weird little thing in your head.
Yeah.
Don't, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I should emphasize that. But make the thing. Just if you have the means. I know it's easier.
I know I'm dating myself when I say this, but there used to be a weird little show that used to come on when I was younger called Benny Hill, and Benny Hill was as weird as you got,
Yeah,
and everyone loved it.
it's still
In the U.S. still even.
that everyone knows the music, even if you don't know the show. Everybody knows that. So yeah, just
Yeah. So people, there is an audience for it.
yeah, and know why you're making it. Remember the why. Maybe the audience isn't Marvel movie big, but there's an audience. There's more people out there like you than you want to, than you might realize.
So what either comics or comedic actors inspired you growing up?
That is a long list. So my parents have always been incredibly supportive of me doing this, which is awesome. But also when I was younger, would show me a lot of older movies. And the first real comedy thing I remember latching on to was actually Abbott and Costello. Um, my dad showed me Abbott and Costello,
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yes.
That stuck in a way that, and then you'd start deep diving that. But yeah, that just triggered this thing in my brain. It was like, oh, they don't make stuff like that anymore. It's hard to like that.
Not at all.
And that led to, Monty Python, which led to all kinds of stuff like that. Eventually SNL, although I'm not the biggest SNL guy, not crapping on it, but there's just It's not my Kids in the Hall, going back to weird comedy stuff. And then, more film, like Edgar Wright. I really fell in love with Edgar Wright stuff and Shaun of the Dead. And then go back and watch the show Spaced. So yeah, that's really the summation of, and then from stand-up, I was always a big Carlin guy. And Robin Williams. I mean, I'd be remiss not to mention.
Absolutely.
So yeah, a lot.
Absolutely. The people like Abbott and Costello and Robin Williams, I think, those are the people who actually, for me, I'm going to add John Ritter and Jim J. Bullock to that pool of people, along with Shirley Hemphill. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, but
Yeah.
I love it when people are able to just throw caution to the wind and give it, just go there.
Yeah.
And not care. There's a freedom in finding the comedic aspect of it, and sometimes it's just honest. I mentioned B. Arthur earlier because B. Arthur had a way of her comedy was found in the response,
right?
And I think that's beautiful, man. And I think that anytime someone asks me who I pull from, it's like, well, I can tell you, but you have to know your comedic history to understand.
Yeah. For sure. And I'm definitely leaving people off that list. I am a pretty significant comedy nerd, but yeah, it's always been the stuff that's like a little more out there, and just different.
Sorry, someone said Mel Brooks. Yes, Mel Brooks as well.
Like I said, I'm definitely leaving off some heavy hitters here. I remember watching Spaceballs for the first time, or even Young Frankenstein. All that stuff just changes your brain in a way that I don't know, and you just always pursue that kind of like, well, if that's here, if I can get like right here, then I might be all right. But
I think let me talk a little bit about I'm Not Nice, because I'm Not Nice, just so that everybody knows, was a short film that was presented at the film festival, and I was one of the judges for that film festival. And one of the things that I said when I first saw it was that whoever did this found the magic. Again, I'm dating myself because I want people to fully understand what I mean when I say that. I grew up at a time in the 70s and in the 80s where comedy was situational. It wasn't just over the top for being over the top. It was a time where the characters endeared themselves to the audience. So once the characters connected with the audience and they became real to us, then they were able to make the audience feel whatever they wanted them to feel, whether it was to laugh or to cry or have somebody win or intensely dislike somebody. Like there was always, and I haven't found that in recent years. So when I saw I'm Not That Nice, it was the first time that I actually saw a comedy, independent comedy, that really made me laugh. And I actually saw it, and I think I said this to you at the film festival. I was like, when is the series coming? Because I could name so many different shows from the past, from Get Smart to that reminded me of that film. So please tell me, like, what was your process, you and your team?
So I'm Not Nice is actually an indirect sequel to another short we made. I got to go back a little further. So me and Phil and Thursday Shoots had made a film called Handle with Care. Actually, as a 72-hour competition film. It involves bugs. Another weird comedy. Is that online somewhere? I can probably send it. Anyway, Handle with Care. And then that got into the Queens World Film Festival, which is where we met Shannon Morrill and Janelle Tedesco, who were there with another film. And you've been to enough festivals. You run into people at these things all the time. Loved your thing. We should work together. That'd be great. And then you never hear, or, you get the occasional Facebook thing. But Janelle is one of the most tenacious people you will ever meet, and really drilled into.
And let me just say, Janelle Tedesco played the lead, and she was friggin' brilliant. Yeah. I mean, just brilliant. Like I like I said, I don't fan out, but when you do good work, I'm a fan of it. So I'm sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
You can keep telling me how great I am and my team is. I'm gonna stop you. I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, so she kept pushing that we should make something. We should make something. So the two of them, the two of us, met up, and Janelle had a script called "I'm Not Lost," which is about, and Shannon stars in that. Like I said before, it's a family affair. We all kind of do everything. Janelle's character in "I'm Not Nice" appears at the end of "I'm Not Lost." Still a spy. Main character runs into her, says thank you for helping me, and then Janelle says I'm not nice. That's where the title came from. But when we shot that, Janelle did it in what I directed that one too, and Janelle did it in one take, and the character was just like, great. It's one of those things. Was like, I guess we'll go again for safety, but like, it's cold. Maybe we'll just go inside. And then Shannon was like, we should center something around that character because she's crushing it. And anyone who's ever met Janelle knows that the character in this movie and her are very different people. But so yeah, so then Shannon came up with this longer spy thing, and we banged it out and crowdfunded, and we decided to co-direct it, which can go one way or the other. Anyone who's ever, we hadn't tried that before, but it turns out we're pretty much, one half of the same brain. And yeah, that was, and then it was just a matter of figuring out how to do some of the crazier things that were in that script, which is where there's an animated sequence at the beginning of the film, which I had put together.
Yes.
Because on paper it involved all of those things. It was like, well, we can't throw Janelle out a window. We can't we just don't have the money or resources to do this. So, and for a montage, we're going to blow our whole budget on a montage essentially.
Right. Right.
So yeah, and it was just, I also, outside of comedy, I love those Mission Impossible movies a lot. Mm-hmm. Spy stuff in general. So it was kind of cool to just do that. And yeah.
But the animation was so good
Thank you.
It set the tone for the rest of the film.
Thank you.
Like when the animation started at the beginning of the film, immediately knew what this was going to be about.
Thank you.
Right. It was almost like, and I'm telling you, if anybody does not know about Get Smart, when you watch the opening of Get Smart, you immediately know exactly what the next 30 minutes is going to be about.
Yeah. Yeah, I had borrowed from Flight Attendant credits, mm-hmm. Which is a newer show. Mad Men a little bit, and the animated show Archer. Mm-hmm. So kind of drew inspiration from that to do what you said. Kind of, okay, it's a little silly. It's definitely going to be funny, but it's a spy thing too, and just kind of set the tone out the gate. So I'm glad it worked.
Right. Have you ever thought about? I'll put it to you this way: have you ever thought about writing a pitch deck for this particular series to pitch for a studio?
I have written pitch decks for other things, but there is not currently a series in mind for this, but it has come up because we do like these characters, we like this world. We have made other I'm not thing. So it's definitely on the table. Back to your thing before of your earlier question of being around in time, getting everyone together to do that could be a little. Shannon is now out in LA, but it's definitely an option. We're always talking about what to do next and where to go. But yeah, there was a 3-year pocket of time with this too that we didn't think it would ever see the light of day, or we would ever make anything again because of COVID. So, now that we're kind of back in full swing, it'll for sure come up. But at the moment, there's nothing currently on the table.
What makes you fearful about moving forward in this industry with your artistry?
Um, moving forward, I mean, it's on. There's no guarantees, right? Unless you're at the really upper end, and even then, right? You know, people fall off all the time. I guess from a financial place, you know, I do have a mortgage, and we're talking about having kids, those kind of things. So, is it a sustainable enough thing to take the risk? It's risky, right? You know, as much as we want to say like being a starving artist is fun, the starving part sucks. Like anyone who tells you otherwise. And as we just saw, you brought up, thank God it's over, but the strikes, that was 118 days on both fronts. First it was the writers, and then the actors. So, you know, and it doesn't, and that's a 3-year contract, but in 3 years, who knows what the world is. So
That's true.
fearful is necessarily the right word. Skeptical, cynical, maybe.
Yeah.
We're in a pocket of time where the people that hold the keys to the kingdom don't really want to give them out anymore. And now there's this AI element on the table that, well, why would we need to hire actors or writers or even directors, right? Because that's the thing. Everyone wanted to latch on to, well, like actors are being greedy. No, all the jobs go away if you let this happen. All of them.
Yeah.
Okay, actors are gone. Now you don't need anyone to light anything.
Right.
Sound person to record anything.
Sound mixer's gone.
Down to Crafty, right? Crafty, all those people lose their jobs too because you don't have to
Yep.
feed.
Yeah. UPMs, all of that.
It goes away. It all goes away. So maybe that, but also the watching the solidarity between everyone on this side makes me more hopeful than fearful that
Yeah.
that you know the bastards don't get to win. You know that's really it. Don't let the bastards win, right? So I guess
But
that.
I think what you said is so important because how you talk about collaboration and community and creating the art, I think that's what we all need to get back
Yeah.
to. That, you know, because you if you get so consumed with this crazy business, you'll lose the thing that made you want to be a part of it from the beginning.
Sure. And you're not. The other thing is like billionaire CEOs aren't going away. They're not. So it's just
Yeah.
unfortunately the business part of it is always going to be there. So you know, it's a matter of balancing that without compromising who you are. And that's really all I got on that. So I'm more hopeful than fearful going forward because you kind of have to be. If
Yeah.
you look at that element of hope that it's going to happen or that you can do it or it's enough. And that's the other thing. Sometimes it's got to be enough.
Yeah.
If you're always chasing, you know,
Yeah.
and that is, I guess, for me, like I said before, going to the Roosevelt Island Film Festival, watching that thing, meeting you, laughing in a room full of people for a moment. That's it. That's all we get is moments. You got to hold on to those.
Yeah.
Let that be enough then. Does that always do laughs always pay the bills? No.
Yeah.
But if you're always just chasing the bag, man, you're in for a world of disappointment because you know the failures that far outweigh the successes of this business. So you know, for every one success story, there's 100 failures behind it. There's only one that can take it apart. There's only one person, sometimes two, who can direct a movie. So, yeah.
You know what? I honestly, I'm gonna get to my 5 questions I want to ask you, but I'm just so thankful for the people that I've met along the way, who came before me, who I watched growing up on television, and gave me the awakening that I needed to realize that it's really about work-life balance, right? There's no there to get to. Everyone's trying to make it get there, but there's no there. It's just the journey.
Yep.
And you have to enjoy it because there'll be moments where you're going to be on high, and there's going to be moments where nothing's happening, but you still got to find those happy moments.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I got my 5 questions that I ask all my guests when they come.
Okay.
So, you know, answer them, take your time, answer them however you want. All right. So, are your lights going again? But here we go. So,
Stuff with my computer monitor that keeps
it's
going
all
into
good.
save.
It's all good. So tell me, what do you know about the industry now, opposed to what you thought it was going in?
Oh,
What have you discovered?
it's a lot smaller than it seems. It's a lot smaller club than it seems. While there's a bajillion shows, I run into the same people all the time on all kinds of stuff, and yeah, I think it's not as daunting as it used to seem. It seems attainable and also unattainable at the same time. Wow, this, my other the other thing I guess I learned is don't hang out at Crafty too much. The snacks catch up.
I feel you on that.
But yeah.
What advice would you give your 19-year-old self?
Oof. I'm just gonna stay away from Crafty. No. In the sappiest way, just hold on. You figure it out eventually, for better or for worse, and yeah, don't push away or alienate the people that are in your corner, because that's what counts.
That's good.
But for real, hang out with Crafty a little less.
Yeah, man. Just don't even walk to a Crafty. Try to like, don't even go. If you can stay in a, like, you know, you're on a TV show, you stay in a honey wagon, just have them bring you some cold coffee. It's the best way.
Quit smoking sooner. 19-year-old Tom, quit smoking sooner.
Good advice. Good advice. So what would you like your legacy to be?
You said they were that. This was not going to be heavy.
It's not everyone here.
What would I want my legacy to be? He was kind of funny sometimes.
He was kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah. He did all right and was kind of funny sometimes.
What would you want people to remember from your work? What would be the takeaway from what you present to the world?
Don't be afraid to be a little weird. You know, I think that's it. Make the thing that you want to make. Yeah, that's a tough one. What do I want people to take? I just, for the thing I said earlier on, right? Just, I hope I made your day a little less crappy for a little while. Maybe that's what the legacy I would want. I've changed my legacy question. I hope I made your day a little less crappy for a little while.
I get it. I get it. Because for me, I feel like that's why I do what I do, right? Because someone before me made my day a little less crappy for a little while. You know, if it wasn't for people like Tim Conway, who I still watch when I'm having a crappy day, that uplifts my spirits. And I think you keep saying, I think the weird guys always win in that way, because what you find is weird, someone else will find funny, and it makes their day a little bit brighter. And I think that's why I feel like we do what we do, because those are the things that count, right?
Yeah.
Everything else will pass. You know, we don't know how everyone lived their lives, but we do know the work that they presented to us. And if we can give that gift to the world, then I think that's pretty an amazing legacy to leave.
Yeah, I'd say so, for sure.
So what brings you joy?
Conversations like this, and I don't mean that sarcastically. I don't sound sarcastic. Um, but yeah, just talking to like-minded people, just laughing at nothing, nonsensical nothing. Uh, Watching my cat do something incredibly stupid because my cat's incredibly stupid. Um, my friends, my wife, my family, just, and I'm saying this, but I do need to actually think about it more often. But like, I got a lot of good crap. My life
Yeah.
is certainly got problems. I mean, I wish my mortgage payments were lower, and
Yeah.
not to keep bringing up a hefty thing, but uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the things that bring me joy are the things that maybe I sometimes take for granted.
Yeah.
Is just how many really wonderful people that I have crossed paths with for a little while or for a long while. And yeah, that's what brings me joy. Is thinking back on that, and I need to do more of it. But when I really sit back and think, uh, when someone like you asked me to do this lovely show, that, that yeah.
What are you grateful for?
I mean, I think it's just going to be the same answer. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the people that I have found or have found me
Yeah.
that have let me be who I really am, uh, and just embrace that. That don't make me feel weird for being a little weird.
Someone just said everyone needs a Tom Caps in their life.
I see that. Hi, Dan. So everybody needs a Dan McElroy. Speaking of people I don't see often enough, would bring me immense joy.
Yeah.
Whenever I do. But yeah.
So what's next for Tom Caps and Thursday shoots? What's next for you guys?
We got a couple of shorts on deck, a couple of sketches on deck, and we're attempting to do our first feature, but that's still in the script stage. So I won't talk too much about that. But right now we're doing something a little crazy and weird. We're shooting 366 Shark Tank pitches to submit one a day for the next year, starting in February. So the team wrote a bunch of pitches. We found out that you can submit to Shark Tank very easily. So we came up with a bunch of stuff that we're just shooting 1 minute videos. It's all me. And we're just going to post them and submit them and see where that goes. It's been super fun. I don't know most of the ideas. I wrote 10 out of the 366. The rest
That's
are,
hilarious.
and the rest are handed to me on an index card the day of. And it's very improv heavy. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've shot 60 so far. So not even close to halfway there. But so far, yeah, it's been fun. So that's what we're currently in the mode of. And we'll see where it goes.
And you can't tell me whether or not we're going to see a continuation of the character in I'm Not Nice.
As a standalone series, no, I can't tell you yes or no.
Okay.
However, she does exist in a few other things as a cameo part. But like I said, there was about 3 years where we kind of didn't think about this idea at all because no ideas were happening. So yeah. So maybe, who knows? It's I would love to play with that character again and that world again because it's very fun. So not ruling it out, and I think that the fact that you want it means other people also might. So we might unbox it.
Yeah. Because I could see that character in so many different other situations.
Yeah.
And think that it would be really great to follow that journey in that character and see where.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? She could have. We haven't done an origin story really of her, but even just her hunting down other bad guys. Yeah, it's fun to play in that world. So I would very happily go back if the right idea presented itself to revisit that play.
I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot and hearing a lot from Tom Caps in the future. I'm sure.
I certainly hope so. I'm a hard person to shut up. So
yeah, man. That's cool, man. Listen. I appreciate you taking the time to join me tonight.
thanks for having me.
Truly, I do, and hopefully we will be able to get together face to face and chat soon.
For sure. Yeah, I'd love that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tom Caps.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, brother. Have a blessed night.
I shamelessly plug, check out thursdayshoots.com for all
my
the things.
bad. That's my fault.
No.
Tell us what's going on. Say it again.
Just thursdayshoots.com and Thursday Shoots on all the various socials to keep up with us and me, because that's really the only place I operate from.
So
unless you want to see pictures of my cats, then you can
I got to say this too, Tom, because see, you know, I said you're a producer. You know what actors do with producers. So, like, how do you care if actors or talent reach out to you? How would you like them to reach out to you if they choose to do so?
I mean, on here is fine. Yeah, you could go through the Thursday Shoot site. We have a contact tab on there. But if you want to just DM me, go for it. Yeah, I'm open to just about anything. So, you know, I might not say yes to everything, but I will listen to just about anything. So yeah,
that's
feel
fair.
free on here. Tom A. Caps on. This is really the only one I use. So I'm on all the other stuff, but this is the only place I'll respond probably. So
Yeah, it's there, and you know, we're back, so hopefully new content will be needed, and you'll be a part.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. Just want to keep
Sure.
it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
joining me. Well, let's connect soon. Seriously.
For sure. Yeah, definitely off live. We should grab coffee. All right, sounds good.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.